Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Dave, Season 1, Episode 5, Hype Man is the episode of Dave I'm going to be talking about. Dave being the FX show, also available on Hulu, Season 1 and Season 2, currently available on Hulu. If you've not watched the show, I wouldn't recommend listening and or watching this episode, because what I do is I break down beat by beat and dissect and pull out the marrow of every bit of this episode, each episode. So if you want to, if you want to hear that, fine, stay. That's cool. I'm not going to judge. But if you don't want to be spoiled, not that there's a lot of twists and turns within the Dave universe, feel free to head on over and watch the episode first, and listen along. Either way, but just a little warning up top. This episode starts off with GaTa and Dave shopping. They are in a clothing store shopping. Dave has his first opportunity to open for a bigger rap name, Meek Mill. So he's looking for his stage clothes, going past the denim stage jacket that he had for the memorial concert that he got bumped by Macklemore for. It's not that. He's going a little bit higher end, a little bit fancier, and he's got GaTa out there to help him get the right stuff. He gets recognized, or I don't know if he got recognized necessarily, but there's some other guys in there, and GaTa being GaTa, always hyping up his man, always the positive guy, always the guy who believes in Dave. He believes in Dave. He pushes he tries to fuel Dave with his positive energy. There's a bunch of guys that want to pose pictures. They're talking about whatever. He's got to open it for Meek Mill, whatever. They pose for a picture. And Dave's pose, when he poses for pictures, is to do this. It's like, it's when you put your thumb and your pointer finger and you're showing somebody how small something is. Like almost like you're holding I don't know what the size of that would be. Like you're holding a little chapstick between your thumb and forefinger. And that's kind of how Dave does it, which symbolizes the little dick that Dave has, is how he poses. But he soon finds out that it is very similar to the Crip hand sign, the gang sign that gets thrown up, which is more of a C. It's more of a pronounced, it's like if Lil Dicky had the same, like Lil Dicky is like a small Crip. That's how he's doing it. Small Crip and then like big Crip. Which I don't know if those are authentic gang signs for Crips, but because of that, because Dave's worried about everything. He's like the smallest details is he's lost in the woods, as it were. He's can't see the forest for the trees. So he's in there. You see the whole Crip thing gets thrown off. Cut to they're now at a concert. Not only Dave and GaTa, but also Mike is there. Dave's manager, friend. You have Allie, Dave's girlfriend, and Emma, Allie's roommate. They're at this concert, and Dave isn't enjoying the concert. Dave is there to study because he's opening for Meek Mill. This is a legitimate performance that he's going to have to do. And he's going there as a reconnaissance mission, watching this stage performance of what to do, what not to do, how to be exciting, all these things. He is so hyper-focused on the details of everything. He's not even allowing himself to have fun, which everybody else is having fun. After the concert, they're all walking back, and Dave, talking about the details. Emma offers to do whatever designs Dave wants for his background, because they're talking about, just how production-wise, how he wants to produce his show. But Dave's unhappy. He's also unhappy. He gets recognized out in the parking lot. And again, similar to last episode where Dave gets recognized by the tour bus, at the end of last episode, he gets recognized by the tour bus as being the "somebody suck me" guy. In the parking lot of this concert, he gets recognized again for that same thing. And again, Dave is upset with that. He's upset that he is not being recognized as a rapper still. He's like a real rapper, quote unquote, real rapper, because the only things people know him from are the viral "Somebody Suck Me" challenge or the "My Dick Sucks" video. Those are the only two things he's known for and people recognize him for. And that's not the respect he wants on his name. He wants to be considered a real quote unquote rapper. Doesn't want to be like this gimmicky type of a thing. And he's not happy with his quote unquote branding. And Mike, being his manager, is like, well, what we'll do is we'll make this video that will show before your performances as you're on tour, before every performance. And it'll be a description. This video will describe who you are as a rapper. It'll be like a rebranding. This video that this intro video that we'll make will be like a rebranding to just educate the audience of who you are. That you're more than just the "somebody suck me" guy, then you're more than just my dick sucks guy. So that's Mike's kind of idea. And GaTa's like kind of blown away because, I mean, GaTa first is only there because he recognized Dave from "My Dick Suck." You know, they're sitting in the studio waiting for YG. You know, they're in the lobby of the studio. And Dave is looking at he's looking at the analytics for his viral video, and GaTa overhears it, and that's how they first got entangled with each other. And that's still a rap song that is like at least a step towards what Dave wants to be recognized for, as opposed to some viral "My Dick Suck" or "Somebody Suck Me" challenge. So GaTa's playing the song for him, and he's trying to hype him up. He's singing and dancing to the song and just trying to get Dave excited. And that's the thing. Dave feels he's never been so excited about his music. It's like the first time Dave has looked from his music, like been able to take a step back. Like he's been so close, just looking at the fine details of everything, that he's never taken a step back and seen his work from a different point of view. And that's what GaTa does in this parking lot. Gives Dave a different perspective on what he's doing, of what he's creating. And because of that, Dave offers him a job to be his hype man. So GaTa is now Dave's hype man. Of course, Mike, being the business manager of the whole thing, he's like, you shouldn't be hiring people right now. But it's a no-brainer. Because Dave needs some energy. GaTa's got tons of energy. He needs somebody. Like, GaTa loves Dave's music more than Dave loves Dave's music. So he gets the job. Cut to 2016, which I assume is... Does it say these movies? The show first came out in 2020. So I'm assuming, let's say, 3 to 4 years prior. 2016. Young GaTa on a tour bus with a huge crew of dudes and chicks in this tour bus of, I guess the rapper's name is Pac-Man, somebody else. Forgive me, I said this before. On previous episodes, I am very ignorant to all of the current rappers in the industry of hip-hop. So forgive me. I don't recognize any of them. I am an old white man, and I am ignorant. But I love this show because it's universal. The universality of being an artist is what drew me to it, and also the comedy of it. But GaTa is on this tour bus. Clearly, he had been part of a crew before. And GaTa is hyped. A little bit more hyped than he was in the parking lot. Like, just really manic. Going around, trying to get other people hyped up, where they're all just trying to relax. They're all just trying to chill. And one of the worst things to have around you when you are trying to relax and chill is to have somebody bouncing off of the walls, manic as fuck. Like, it is so exhausting. When you are tired and want to relax and you are in the vibe of low energy, to have somebody super high energy bouncing off the walls is a lot to deal with. And these guys are kind of tired with it. They're like, he gets pulled aside. He's like, you got to calm down, bro. And of course, GaTa's not hearing it. But anyway, that's a little snippet we get with that little flashback. It's a few flashbacks in this episode. We're finding out a little bit more about GaTa in this episode, which I love. I think GaTa, in so many ways, this show is about the dynamic duo of Dave and GaTa. And we're getting the backstory of GaTa a little bit more. The Many Faces is an ongoing abstract ink portrait series that I started many years ago. I release a new face every day, but go to inspireddisorder.com to check them out. So many available. But as a listener to The Ray Taylor Show, you can save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out. So go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF, that stands for The Many Faces. Go check them out, browse the entire collection, and when you decide on a piece, or maybe multiple pieces, make sure you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out, and you'll save 10%. As a big thank you for checking out my work, for collecting my work, and for listening to The Ray Taylor Show. And with that said, let's get back to the show. So cut back to current time. You have Dave and Emma. Emma put together some background images based on his social media for Dave to put up for the background of his live performance. And Dave's not, of course, very picky, unhappy with everything, not really liking it. So they're kind of brainstorming what the quote-unquote brand is for Dave. What is his brand? And he's really, and I know so much this situation from Emma's point of view. I have, on many occasions, done graphic design, done tattoo design, done, commissioned artwork, done a lot of creative things for people for free. Or even for money. And that is one of the most difficult, painstaking, annoying, just horrific things to do as an artist, is you're basically turning yourself into a tool for somebody who has no idea what they're doing to use. They have no concept of what it's like to create something. They have no concept. I mean, Dave, maybe not on the same level, but it's still that same idea of getting creative notes from uncreative people. I can imagine is the bane of every comedian's existence when they get a show picked up, or the bane of every director or writer that's trying to get a film produced, and you have these corporate business people trying to tell you how to tell a story, how to be an artist. And Emma's not having any of it. She's like, don't give me notes. I'm doing you this stuff for free. I'll come up with some more ideas, right? Because I do believe in you. I am your friend. So I will come up with some more ideas for you because you're not happy with these. But let's tone down. Let's get more of a symbiotic relationship here. Let's not have this bullshit kind of one-way street where it's like you're just dictating what you think I should do in these very obtuse, abstract ideas. So you have their whole brainstorming session. Then cut to rehearsal. Dave is rehearsing finally. We've gone far with Dave so far. 5 episodes. Started off, he hadn't even performed for his girlfriend before. He almost had his first show. And now he's rehearsing to go on to perform. It's only one show that he's opening for Meek Mill, but I'm sure it's the beginning of multiple times he will be opening for people. So he's rehearsing. Dave still nitpicking, still way too focused on the smallest of details. Feels very unoriginal. He wants to break the mold of what it is to perform. Like, not only is he like hyper focused on the small details, it's like he wants to, which I 100% have had these moments, had these thoughts where it's like, oh, I want to reinvent how everything is done. Like, I don't even want to do things like really well the way they're done. I don't want to get good at doing that. I want to like flip it all on its head. And that's kind of what Dave wants to do, because he feels so unoriginal. You have GaTa super amped. Everybody's noticing GaTa bouncing off the walls. Just like, trying to be the positive GaTa, but clearly ratcheted up a little bit too much. Like, he's usually in like the Ted Lasso kind of positivity area. But now he's like up in like the, like he's on on speed or on crack or on coke, on some kind of stimulant that is making him fire at like a level 12 instead of his comfortable level 8.5. Everybody's noticing it. Mike gets frustrated with it, tells him to calm down. I had a buddy of mine that actually looks a lot like they have very similar looks, my friend and GaTa, and we worked together, and there were times where, I don't know if my friend had the same issues that GaTa had, but he would get amped up and he would get like tons of energy. And there were times where, like, at work, like, I would have to tell him to shut the fuck up, because it's like, it is so annoying. Again, same thing with GaTa flipping out on the tour bus. It is so like exhausting, especially if you're already exhausted or you already have enough on your plate, to have somebody bouncing off the walls around you. So when Mike told GaTa to calm down, like, I felt that in my bones. Like, he did it a lot more politely than I did. I told him to shut the fuck up. It's like, Richard, shut the fuck up, man. You are driving me insane right now. So I get where Mike is coming from, trying to calm GaTa down. Again, Lil Dicky trying to reinvent the wheel, is like wants to do the craziest thing. He throws out the idea to Els, like, oh, maybe, or Els jokingly says, why don't you just suck your dick on stage? I don't think anybody's done that. And of course, Dave takes that, as a legitimate idea and asks Mike if that's even legally possible. Not to mention if it's physically possible for Dave to do it, which he says he used to be able to do it as a child, which contradicts everything we know about Dave and his penis, that he would even ever be able to get close to sucking his own dick. And they go back and forth because Mike doesn't believe it either. And Dave is like, well, Dave's excuse why he doesn't do it anymore is it went from feeling like he was getting his dick sucked to more like he was giving head to somebody. Like the sensations went the other way to where it wasn't as good for him. And that's why he stopped. Not that it was physically impossible. It's really weird, the people that brag about being able to suck their own dick. I'm sure I would have tried it at some point if I was able to. Never been able to. But like, as it being like a point of pride is, I guess it's just like another big dick kind of a thing. Which is weird that I ever was concerned about the size. Like, the one thing you have no control over, you have to like make up stories for it. You have to fabricate realities for your dick because you're uncomfortable with it. So of course that, can't do that. And again, Mike floats the idea. It's like, listen, let's just do this video thing to let everybody know who you are. He floats the idea again. So cut to 2017 now. A year after the tour bus situation. GaTa is in a shoe store with his mom, getting some shoes. He's getting hooked up. He's getting, like, as far as there's no point in my life have I ever been shoe shopping where it's like I'm going out to go buy multiple shoes, whether it's by myself or somebody paying for it like my mom. It is like it's a weird privileged situation where GaTa is out there just kind of racking up on shoes. And while he's there with his mom getting these shoes, which he's kind of, still not really bouncing off the walls or anything, but still like on edge. Like you can tell, like he is not the positive GaTa. He is like he's showing his teeth a bit with his manicness. And a guy comes in that GaTa owes money to, right? He's going to collect some debts. He sees GaTa buying all these shoes. Like, motherfucker, why are you buying shoes when you owe me money? Which is something, one reason I don't loan people money. Or like it like when money comes in between friendship or whatever, and you see people and you're like, oh, that's like you owe me money and you're buying shoes. You don't need shoes. You need a pair of shoes. You don't need a collection of shoes when you are in debt to somebody. So this dude, upset, which makes sense. Of course you would be upset. Dude owes you money, and he's out flaunting his money buying a bunch of shoes. Now, maybe it's not his money. Maybe it's his mom money. Regardless, you have a debt to pay. And it's not MasterCard or Visa. This is a debt. This is like a loan shark debt, which I don't know if it's even loan shark debt. It's just you owe somebody money, a dude money, and that dude that you owe money to sees you buying shoes. So he goes to return the shoes, and the dude's like... going in on GaTa a bit more. And GaTa goes crazy, right? He's just like, he breaks. Let's put it that way. I don't necessarily like the word crazy, but they use the word crazy a few times in this episode. But he breaks. And he flips out. And he's like, you guys don't even know what I'm about. You like, look at this. I'm going to get this. Starts pulling out his phone, just going off on all these shoes that he's going to be buying, and how he's like, don't you know that I was working with these other rappers and all this other stuff? You don't know where I'm going. Like, very much like manic, but also like this delusions of grandeur kind of a deal. And he's like, I don't need any of this shit. And he starts pulling stuff out of his backpack, takes his laptop out that his mom just bought him, smashes the laptop, which breaks my heart. Like, man, if you're an artist, I can understand wanting to destroy shit to act like this shit doesn't mean anything to you. But when your laptop is like, that is like your studio. And he just effortlessly breaks this laptop, smashes it on one of the shelves. Security guard comes in, takes him away. Cut to, they're in a hospital. He's tied down, given some medication. And you see GaTa breaking down to his mom. He's sad that his mom, he feels like his mom wasn't there for him. But it's like, what is she going to do? He was having a manic episode, like tantrum in a shoe store. Busted up this laptop that she bought for him. Like he wasn't acting mentally stable. And he's crying, and she's like, I'm sorry, and stuff like that. So you realize there's issues with GaTa. He's got issues. Obviously, these flashbacks illustrate that. Obviously, how he's acting during rehearsal, how he's acting is illustrating that as well. Join Inspired Disorder Plus today. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus to join. Membership includes members-only discounts and deals. You get access to the Ray Taylor Show completely ad-free, as well as bonus episodes. You get access to the complete live painting archive. You also get access to every single podcast ever produced by Inspired Disorder, hosted by Ray Taylor. You get access to Ray Taylor's personal blog, as well as the opportunity to ask me any questions. So if you want to start a podcast, you're into art, ask me anything. And so many more things are being added every day to Inspired Disorder Plus. So sign up today, become a member, head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. So cut to present day GaTa in a pharmacy trying to get some pills. And the pharmacist asking him, is like, did you normally get this dose? And he's like, well, doctors say if I start ramping up, then I need to go with a higher dose. And that's what we're seeing as the audience. We're seeing GaTa ramp up. We're seeing him get to that place that he used to get to. And he sees that, and he knows that, and he's being responsible, making sure he gets the medication he needs to help curb this manic episode that's happening. Meanwhile, Dave is on the phone, doesn't know what's going on with GaTa at all, but trying to schedule him to make sure he's there for their next rehearsal. Which, GaTa's, kind of in the middle of trying to get these pills, so he's not fully focused on Dave and what Dave is saying, but whatever. Dave gives him the info on the rehearsal for the next rehearsal, which cut to they're at the next rehearsal. Dave still nitpicking now. He's nitpicking on L's beat. He's like wanting to swap out beats, like wanting to reproduce songs on the spot during rehearsal for a live show. Like, so far past the point where you should be reworking your music just because it sounds different now that it's about to be a live performance. Sounds different coming out of these venue speakers. Of course, it's ridiculous. L's is like, I don't have that beat anymore. Somebody else is using that beat, and Dave's all upset because he let him, but Dave was, just taking his time working with the beat. Never really, there's definitely some miscommunication between the two of them, or lack of communication between the two of them. Dave just acting like L's is just this ever-abundant resource of beats for just him, like he's an exclusive producer for just Dave. Meanwhile, L's is out here trying to do his own thing, trying to get his beats on other people's tracks. And that beat was taken. But it's all just nitpicky stuff that Dave is doing. And you see GaTa passed out on the couch. Just out of it on the couch. Mike is there. He's like, what is going on? Yesterday, this dude's bouncing all around. Now he's like all sluggish. He's just passed out on the couch. And Mike comes in, and he's seeing Dave and L's arguing. He's like, what are we doing? Are we even practicing? Mike is all concerned about the bottom line. He's like, you know how much we're spending to use this space, to use this studio space for you to rehearse? Like, you guys are wasting money. Like, all this stuff you're doing is not helping. And then meanwhile, GaTa's passed out. So then cut to 6 months ago. So 2016, 2017, now 6 months ago. GaTa's working retail electronics store. A dude comes in that GaTa used to know, part of the crew from back in the day when GaTa was part of that Pac-Man crew in that tour bus. And dude's like trying to catch up with GaTa, like, what happened to you? Everybody said you just went crazy and that's why you left. And GaTa, not really being open with what his issue is just like, yeah, man, I got to do things, whatever, making excuses. But GaTa's still trying to, his goal is to become a rapper as well. Similarly to Dave. And GaTa knows the networking thing. So he's like, hey, give me, his dude's like talking about, it's like, yeah, like he's like buddies, they're his in to this hip hop world to network is through weed, being the dealers for these rappers. And the dude is like, hey, yeah, my dude is right now in the studio with YG, whatever. GaTa's like, okay, give me his number. I need to get back into this thing that I used to be into. I need to get back in the hustle, back in the grind, trying to make my way to become a rapper. So this dude gives him his number, and yeah, let's see. Hold on. Yeah, so he gets his number. Whatever. Gets the number. Cut back to rehearsal. GaTa all sluggish. You know, he's not sleeping on the couch anymore, but he's like, you know, he's trying to be the hype man dancing with behind Dave while he's doing his rap thing, running into each other. It's sloppy. It's a mess. GaTa's all sluggish. And everybody's like, what is wrong with you, GaTa? Like, yesterday you were all over the place. Now, what are you taking right now? Because you are on something. And GaTa finally opens up to these guys. And it's amazing. It's like one of the most, it's the scene, it's the moment where if you didn't already love GaTa, God damn it, you're going to love GaTa now. Because he opens up and he's like, man, I'm bipolar, guys. Which I'm sure is difficult for anybody to open up and discuss with people. Because you don't know how people are going to take things. Especially nowadays, people's view and like concern about mental health or science or medicine in general is all over the place nowadays. So you don't know how anybody's going to take it. But he feels comfortable with these guys. He loves these guys. And he tells them, it's like, I'm bipolar. And it's this great scene where he's like, I love all you guys. And he has like amazing performance. He has like this shaky voice where he's like on the verge of tears as he's talking about each individual person and why he absolutely loves them, why he loves Mike, why he loves Els, why he loves Dave, and how interesting and unique they are to be the people they are, and for him to be like to love them so much, and how difficult it is for him to be open with them. And it's just like, it's a beautiful scene. It's a beautiful scene where you see, you're seeing GaTa step out of his normal GaTa-ness, right? Where I've compared him to Ted Lasso. He's hip hop's Ted Lasso, I believe. And in this one, you get to see him being manic, which is like a few steps up. Like it would be like Ted Lasso on meth. And then you see him turn way down and get really emotional and be really heartfelt and deliver these lines that are like, it makes you want to cry listening to him. That like just how desperate he is to have friends and to be like part of a thing that is on track to do what he wants to do for a living. So it's a beautiful scene. And Mike and everybody else is super understanding. Like it instantaneously, because now they know why he's acting the way he's acting. It's not an excuse, and it's an explanation. And that because he saw himself ramping up, he doubled or he ramped up on his medication and probably ramped up a little bit too much. So now he's, super sluggish and lazy. And Mike's super, cool with it. He's like, listen, man, I'm glad he told you. And he also throws in a funny joke about you're going to be the first clinically depressed hype man, which is funny, I mean, Andrew Santino. I wouldn't be surprised if that was an improv line. Maybe not. It's a funny show regardless, but a funny line. And GaTa tells him, it's like sometimes I'm crazy and sometimes I'm lazy. And that's just who I am. But most of the time he's just GaTa. But it's definitely noticeable for the audience, for them to see when he is off, when he's not himself necessarily. And then cut to them making that intro video where it's Dave coming on camera like, hey, my name's Dave, and you're going to see an amazing performance. And after Meek Mill is done with his performance, then you're gonna have a good time. But before that, it's going to be us. And this is who I am. And then he brings on GaTa. And GaTa's like, this is who I am. I'm a smooth dude. I'm cool. I like this shit. I like that shit. I'm mentally depressed or I'm bipolar. And Dave's like, ooh, I didn't know he was going to. Like, it's a nice little intro video. Kind of cheesy, right? But it's what Mike had intended of, like, just kind of, this is who we are. It's me, Lil Dicky. It's GaTa. And it's Els. Els makes the beats. GaTa's my hype man, and I'm the rapper. And this is what we are. And we're honest, and we're real, and we're here to entertain you. And then we get cut back to 6 months ago again. So this is taking place just after the interaction at the electronics store where GaTa gets the number for YG's guy. And of course, if you're paying attention, you know that meeting. Because that's the same meeting Lil Dicky walked in to that same recording session with a tuna sandwich. And then he went out to the lobby because he couldn't be. He's ruining Els' situation here, trying to produce this track for YG. So cut to 6 months. Dave is walking out, throws the bag of tuna sandwich in the trash can, goes to sit down, opens his laptop up to check the analytics on his song. And that's when, and GaTa's on his phone trying to think of the best icebreaker to get in with this new dude that's hooked up with the YG crew. He's like, hey, man, it's GaTa from da-da-da. And he's like deleting. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to say. And then Dave comes out, opens his laptop, and GaTa's like, oh, that's the My Dick Suck guy. That's how it all started. Which is what they said at the very end of the intro video. GaTa's like, and I don't even know how this whole thing started. And we literally see how it all started. That just Dave and GaTa happened to be in the lobby. Dave was checking the analytics on his song, and GaTa recognized it. Bada bing, bada boom. GaTa back in the loop within the whole rap community thing. Got his foot back in the door with another crew, with Dave's crew. Very different crew, very unique type of a crew, I would imagine, within the rap world. And that's how it all starts. A very beautiful episode. I really enjoyed this episode. That's how it ended, with GaTa and Dave meeting. That's how it all started. And it's beautiful. And it also puts in perspective that we know now that within 6 months, this show started 6 months ago in the reality of the show. So within 6 months, Dave performed for his girlfriend for the first time. Got bumped by Macklemore for his first show. Never got to do his first performance. And now he's going to do an actual live event opening for an established artist, Meek Mill. Within 6 months. He's got his buddy Mike working as a business manager. He's got GaTa as his hype man. Els, producer. Everything's kind of coming together. So yeah, episode 5, Hype Man. That's how it all started. And we got to see a lot more of GaTa and get to see his backstory. And amazing performance by him. And just a great episode overall. I really enjoyed it. So that's it. Next week is episode 6, Talent Shows. See you then. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.